Greetings. Welcome to my weekend market recap, 13th November 2022. I'm Sagar Nandi, retired IT professional, swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques. You may contact me using my email ID info@superiorprofit.co. I regularly share live market and stock analysis on my website superiorprofit.co, Twitter handle superiorprofit, and YouTube channel Trading Profitably. All these are open to the public and you are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. I am not an investment advisor, it is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. Options trading can be risky. You may refer to the characteristics and risks of standardized options document from Options Clearing Corporation to decide if options trading is suitable for you. It is suitable for me and I do trade options. In the last market recap, I shared one options trade that I took at that time. I will revisit that trade and show how the trade played out. For my trading, I use the Q systems. They run on Metastock platform and the technical analysis part runs on TradeStation as well. Let's continue with a look at the live systems, starting with a look at the global markets. First, Australian index, all ordinaries. All ordinaries decisively broke out in both daily and weekly charts with a bullish flow and a possible flow long trade setup. So it has a breakout setup plus a flow setup with bullish momentum. My preferred trading direction is bullish and the market condition for Australia is also bullish. Next, Topix index, Japanese market. Here we have a bullish candle on Friday with a bullish flow. The weekly backdrop is also bullish. However, there is a trend line resistance in both daily and weekly. What is the market condition? It is inside a range, where in the range at the upper edge of the range. Therefore, I will avoid buying now. I will not short right now, but if next week price can tilt down from the trend line resistances, then I will be happy to look into shorting opportunities. Market condition sideways, preferred trading direction bearish if market goes down next week. Next, China CSI 300 index. In the last market recap, I explained that I was bullish on the Chinese market. It did break out of a trendline resistance in daily, regained the watermark support in weekly. The watermark was created by an earlier bullish headwind, created a false downside breakout. The weekly is looking bullish. However, looking at the daily, I see one bearish indecision and there is a trendline resistance nearby. Therefore, I will avoid taking long trades, and because the weekly is bullish, I am not going to consider any short trade. What is the market condition? It is downtrending with many trendline resistances. Preferred trading direction? None. India's Nifty 50, that was and is the strongest of all the markets. And some people may think it is because the Indian rupee is weak, was weaker, but I will show that is not true. And therein also lies my usual observation of intermarket studies. I don't do intermarket studies, that is, I don't look at forex market to decide if I'm going to buy or short stocks. If I'm buying stocks, I look at that stock. If I am buying futures, I look at that futures. I don't try to decide my trading direction, trade setup of a future or stock by looking at other markets like forex or gold, etc. And that serves me well. I'll explain when I look at the strongest of all markets, that is Nifty 50 of India. From all-time high, it is only about 1% down, only 1%. It has to go only 1.3% to be precise, 1.33%. It has to go up only 1.33% to make a new all-time high. The weekly backdrop is bullish, weekly candle is bullish, Friday's candle is bullish, it has bullish flow, momentum. From all these signals, it seems that Nifty 50 will make a new all-time high next week. It is already above upper boundary. I am not excited to buy at this point. I would have bought at a swing low somewhere here. I would have booked partial profit along the way and I would continue to hold the remaining position. I will be reluctant to buy many stocks in the Indian market because it is above upper boundary in the daily. Now, India market is heavily influenced by financial stocks, especially the Nifty 50 index. Let's look at the Bank Nifty index. And you will see Bank Nifty has made a new all-time high this week. New all-time high in weekly. Am I going to buy? No, because the daily is above upper boundary and it is displaying bearish indecisions at the top. It displayed a bearish headwind this week and also a bear release signal. Am I going to short? No, I'm not going to short Bank Nifty because there are multiple trend line supports. However, if price can reverse and go below the watermark resistance, that will also go below the watermark resistance in weekly, creating a false upside breakout, then I'll be happy to look into shorting opportunities in banking stocks. I will look at some potential shorting candidates, and though I am looking sometimes into other markets, not only USA markets, the analysis is exactly the same in all the markets. Now, before looking at these two banking stocks of possible shorting candidates, I wanted to look at INR, the Indian currency. As the dollar was rallying, Indian rupees was weakening. In this chart, if INR is going up, that means INR is weakening. So INR was going up, so it was weakening. However, see what happened after it displayed a bearish indecision at the top in weekly, followed by a bear release in weekly, at which point the backdrop color changed to bearish, and then for two subsequent weeks INR fell sharply. So rupee strengthened. In this chart again, if INR falls, it is strengthening relative to dollar. If it is going up, it is weakening relative to dollar. So we can see that for last 3-4 weeks, it is not weakening. For last 3 weeks, it is strengthening very clearly with bearish backdrop. Falling sharply. This week, it fell most sharply. So if India market strength was due to rupees weakness, then we would not expect Nifty 50 to go up this week because rupees strengthened. Let's go back to Nifty 50 chart. We saw Bank Nifty made a new all-time high And Nifty chart for last 3 weeks when rupee was strengthening, the Nifty also strengthened. So it was not true. It is not true that we can decide the direction of Nifty and trade on Nifty based on how the INR is doing. That is my observation not only in the Indian market, for other markets as well. Now, I showed that Nifty Bank has made new all-time high and I'm reluctant to buy at this point, and I will share two stocks. One is Kotak Mahindra, one of the very well-known banking stocks in India. We can see that it is relatively weak, isn't it? It is nowhere near making a new all-time high, though Nifty Bank Index made a new all-time high this week. Where is it in the weekly? Right at the trendline resistance. It is inside a range. Where is it? At the upper edge of the range. What is my preferred trading direction? Bearish. Exactly same analysis that I carried out in case of Japanese market. In the daily also it is inside a range. Where it is inside a range? At the upper edge. Where could we short earlier? Right at this point. On this day when it displayed a bearish indecision at the top and reversed from pre-existing trendline resistance. Resistance was there in both weekly daily. We could short and we could probably book profit if we used futures. If we used options, shorting naked calls would be risky, but you could short using short call vertical. You could do that on this day precisely when it refers from the trendline resistance. It also reversed from trendline resistance on Friday. However, at the close on Friday, will I short it? No, because it has a trendline support nearby. If you were watching Kotak Mahindra on Friday, this stock is Kotak Mahindra KTKM. If you were watching it on Friday, you could short it using futures easily using the intraday fine-tuned real-time chart. Now, if you want to short it, I'll suggest wait for it to break below the trendline support, or alternatively, if price can go back up to the trendline resistance and reverses from there, then try to short at this point. Either at the resistance if it can go back up there, or when it breaks the support. This is a stock I'm watching for possible shorting opportunity. There is another stock, and that is relatively stronger than Kotak Mahindra, that is SBI, State Bank of India, the largest public sector bank in India. This is looking much stronger, isn't it? This week SBI made a new all-time high similar to Bank Nifty index. However, it closed with a bearish shaped candle in weekly, and in daily, see it displayed the bearish indecision at the top, then it displayed a bearish headwind. We have a group of Indian traders and I shared with them that looking at the bearish headwind, I had shorted SBI using futures, and on Friday, though the Indian market was strong, SBI fell and it created a reversal candle that is bearish. On a bullish market day, and remember USA market was very strong on Thursday, so when on Friday the Indian market opened, Indian market also was strong at the open, and the market index itself continued to remain strong, but its SBI sold out and created a reversal candle. So I am having a bearish view on SPI. Once again, there is a trend line support nearby. So if I was watching SPI on Friday at the close, I wouldn't short it. You could close it. You could short it near the open using intraday fine tune chart. That is how you notice when the market is at all-time high for Bank Nifty, I am looking for shorting opportunities, not buying opportunities. Or in other words, in overbought markets, I'm looking for shorting opportunities. Oversold markets, I'm looking for buying opportunities. You may keep an eye on Bank Nifty and specifically these two banking stocks. You may look at other banking stocks as well. Let's continue with a look at the FTSE index UK market. Friday's candle shape is indecisive. It has a bear release signal. It has a trendline resistance nearby and support even closer. Weekly candle is indecisive. What is the market trend? Sideways. What is my preferred trading direction? None. I will wait for price to break out of the triangle pattern before taking the next swing trade. Let's look at the global market. Mixed picture. If we want to know the state of the global index, let's look at it using weekly daily. In weekly, it is trying to break out of the resistance, and so is true for the daily. However, we see in the daily that the breakout is not decisive, it has an upper tail. If it can come down next week, then that will give a low risk shorting opportunity. If it goes up, then we may look for buying opportunities. Of course, this is a global index, this cannot be traded, it's part of Q Global Market Breadth to see how the global market is doing as a whole. How is the global market doing relative to USA? This week we can see it tilted down. What tilted down? The relative performance, copper color line. So though price is going up for global index, this week it underperformed the USA market. Now let's look at the USA market. Let's first review. Okay, sorry. Before looking at the USA market, let's look at the only Indian stock that I shared in the last market recap as a buy candidate. I didn't share any short candidate last week, neither for India nor for USA market. That was APSE, Adani Group of Companies. I shared it based on this day's analysis. It had a flow trend following long setup, and I mentioned you could, and I did, short the put if you were willing to hold the stock in case you were assigned. You could short the put at one of the trend line supports. It could be around 810 or 820 level. I did that as I mentioned as usual before knowing the result in the last market recap. For naked short put, my profit target is 50% of max profit, and that was easily hit during the week. And following discipline, you would exit the trade. I have closed the trade. So that was a long position, only long position in the Indian market I shared that worked out very well. What about USA market? This week the market went up quite strongly in the USA. However, last week it was not so. Let's look at QQQ. Let's look at last week's candle. We were here at that time. We were here at that time. on Friday 1 week ago. Not many people I know were bullish, but if you remember my last market recap, I only shared buying ideas. Very clear, India market as well as USA market. And now the market has gone up. The weekly candle is looking bullish. It has big move up 3, bullish momentum in weekly. Thursday has big move up 3, bullish momentum in daily also, and Friday the up move continued. Thursday had a bullish flow as well and a flow trend following long setup. So you could start to buy on Thursday, but I was even ahead of that. I could decide to buy based on last Friday's analysis, not only QQQ analysis, the comprehensive Q360 degrees analysis. Now, of course, the weekly daily both are looking bullish. It is now having higher low as well as higher high. It's in an uptrend. So my market direction is bullish and preferred trading direction is also bullish. What about SPY? Higher high, higher low in an uptrend. Weekly also bullish. Market trend is bullish and my preferred trading direction is bullish. However, I am a bit concerned here in terms of buying many stocks because it is already at upper boundary and there is a resistance from the white direction line and then from another trend line resistance. So I'll be reluctant to buy if I looked at the SPY chart. It is bullish, but notice again, look at last week's candle. We were here in weekly. We were here in daily here. I started to buy from there, well ahead of others. What about Dia? Decisively cleared the trendline resistance in weekly. Daily is in an uptrend, higher high, higher low. However, has a bearish indecision at the top and above upper boundary. I'll be reluctant to buy because it is overbought. Again, I decided to buy based on previous week's candle. And lastly, small cap ETF IWM. Last week we were here. Based on that candle, I decided to buy. This week is of course bullish. Everybody can see that. Am I willing to buy this week? No. Because daily is right at a trendline resistance. See the difference between how I look at the market and how many other people look at the market. 1 week ago, I was bullish. I could buy stocks. I shared some of them publicly. And this week, probably many people are turning bullish, but there are reasons for which I am slowing down. I don't mind continuing to hold partial position on the stocks I bought earlier. I am reluctant to take many new long positions based on these external views. What about the internal health check? We can know that from Q Global Market Breadth Total View, a single chart carrying a lot of information. 1 week ago, where were we? Here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were here 1 week ago. Based on that, I decided to buy. Then price has gone up. Is it overbought? Not yet, but close to overbought condition from multiple angles. One is this 3-month new high low. it is approaching the upper threshold. That is overbought condition. From another angle, the percentage of stocks above 50 MA is approaching the overbought level. Those are also reasons for me to avoid buying many stocks now. For some weeks, I didn't look at the NYSE versus NASDAQ internal health check. Let's do that. Which one is stronger? One way to decide that is to look at the percentage of stocks above 50 MA. For NYSE, that is very close to 80%, whereas for NASDAQ, it is only around 54%. So NYSE had been much stronger than NASDAQ in the recent past. What about mega cap index? The mega cap index is inside a range, and the relative performance is showing that it is sharply coming down. Friday's candle has a bearish indecision. It's anyway right in the middle of the range, so I will not buy it. If I could buy the mega cap custom index, I cannot. It's a custom index to show how mega caps are doing as a whole. It's inside the range, right in the middle of the range with bearish headwind, bearish indecision. I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to short also. Now remember, this is mega cap custom index. It is not technology mega cap custom index. It's not FANG stocks or extended FANG stocks. It's mega cap custom index. Mega cap custom index as a whole is indecisive. Market move sideways, preferred trade direction, none. But if you look at FANG stocks, those were very strong this week. Why don't we look at the FANG stocks? Let's sort by Friday's performance. Meta, Facebook, it went up sharply this week. Okay, let's look at the two chart template. The weekly went up sharply for Meta. Daily, of course, went up. However, is there any buy setup? No, there is no buy setup if we applied the unambiguous checklists. Am I going to buy Facebook now? No. Trendline resistance is very close. Next, Microsoft. The weekly has a bullish headwind. It has a bullish flow. Backdrop color turned bullish, has a big move up 3, extreme high bullish momentum, a bull release signal. Am I going to buy at the close of Friday? No. Where could I buy? I would have bought right at the trendline support, when it was going up from trendline support, which would be on this day. That also displayed the bull release in daily, and at that point it regained the watermark support, creating a false downside breakout. Microsoft is a strong fundamental stock. I didn't check that out. Well-known stock. Let me rephrase that. Well-known stock. One way to trade Microsoft would be to short the put right on the day it created that false downside breakout with bull release signal and reverse from weekly trendline support. Now it has gone up. Those naked short puts would have exited with a nice profit. It broke out of trendline resistance in daily, two of them. Am I going to buy now? No. Is there any Q long trade setup? No. It has broken out, but Q systems and techniques does not allow every breakout trade to be taken. I take only those breakouts where the risk is small, but here the risk is not small, already gone up for several days. Stop loss will be far away. So it's a breakout from trend line resistance, but there is no Q breakout long trade setup. We would have bought once again at the low point, not at the high point. Apple, once again see the value of watching the trend line supports. It came right to the trend line support and reversed from there. And this trend line support is coming from far away in the weekly interval and from far away. Those provide robust support. All trend lines drawn in Q systems provide robust support. Once again, you could short the put right at the trend line support. In fact, 1 week ago as well as this week, you could do that even at this point. You do that using the daily chart. The actual trade entry would be using the daily chart when we had a bullish setup, like for example on this day when we had a bullish headwind. Or we could do the same on Thursday when it bounced up once again from many trend line supports in daily with a bullish flow, and in fact a flow trend following long setup. Now flow setup is not a straightforward conventional trend following long setup. You will see in some instances, like in this case, it is signaling a flow setup. Strictly speaking, as of this day, is it in an uptrend? Yes, okay, yes. It already had higher high, higher low. So it was in an uptrend, okay. So in this case, it was in an uptrend. It triggered a flow trend following long setup on Thursday. We could take that also using short put if you wanted, and of course you could trade using stocks as well. Will I take a long trade at the close of Friday? No, because it is already getting close to the trend line resistance. Again, I prefer to buy at low points when it reverses from some robust support like trend line support or deep watermark support. Google weekly is looking quite bullish. Backdrop color flipped from magenta to cyan. We have big move up 3. Right before that, we had big move down 3. So it's a sharp reversal with bullish pressure and U-turn in weekly with a bull release signal. Everything is looking bullish in weekly. Is there any long trade setup in daily? No. In fact, it is getting close to the trend line resistance. Multiple of them. I'll avoid buying Google now. Tesla, it is finding support at the same very long term weekly trend line support. You could short the put on Thursday. At the close of Friday, am I going to buy Tesla? No, there is no long trade setup, and also a trend line resistance is nearby. Am I expecting this trend line resistance to be broken? Yes. And therein lies one important aspect of Q analysis. Why am I expecting that? And I explained that many times earlier. When we have jump thrust low. Now, strictly speaking, here thrust is low, magenta color, jump didn't hit low point, not magenta. It reached the dark red, but not the extreme low. It is close to jump thrust low as much as you would like to have it. and then it was also at pendulum or price extreme low, and then on Thursday we had big move up 3. So when this pattern plays out at jump thrust low and at price extreme low, when we have big move up 3, this buying is not from some small players. This buying is right at the bottom. Extreme oversold condition with very high bullish momentum must be from people who have more power, more decisive power to buy right at the bottom. And my observation is almost always it goes up from there. Will it go straight up from here? Maybe. Or sometimes it may come down little bit and go up again. But almost all the cases, hesitating to say all the cases, almost all the cases I have observed, when this pattern plays out, the stock goes up from there. Will I buy just based on technicals? No. As is usual in Q systems, I would also look at its fundamentals and industry strength before buying. But this pattern is very strong. That's why it may break out of the trend line resistance sooner or later. But still, until it breaks out, I am not in a hurry to risk my money. I am not going to buy. I will wait for a proper Q long trade setup. Amazon had a sizable move up this week, but notice nowhere near as strong as some of the other stocks, in spite of having a massive up move on Thursday. We see there is no big move up 3 in weekly, unlike some of the other FANG stocks. And daily recovered somewhat, but is still having lower high, lower low in a downtrend, and there is no Q long trade setup. So I'm not going to buy Amazon at the close of Friday. And lastly, Netflix. Netflix is actually looking the strongest among the FANG stocks I am studying. In a decisive uptrend in daily with higher high, higher low, and on Thursday it displayed the flow trend following long setup. That was the perfect time to buy Netflix following Q guidelines. It had a proper long trade setup. You could trade it using short put. If you did that, I would suggest shorting the put at the trend line support, maybe around 260 level, and by Friday it might have hit 50% profit, I don't know, but it would have a large percentage profit by Friday itself. Will I buy at the close on Friday? No, because I have very clear, unambiguous trade setups in Q systems, and that signal me to buy on Thursday at the close. I could buy on Friday at the open, near the open using precision entry chart, but I wouldn't buy at the close on Friday because by that time, by the close of Friday, my risk went up, my potential reward went down. So I looked at the FANG stocks, and though they were pretty strong this week, none of them gave a proper buy setup other than Netflix. Certainly not trend following buy setup. I would also like to look at dollar index. Let's have a look at that because dollar was rallying for a long time, but that has stopped, and I will show you the same pattern I described just now for several FANG stocks playing out in reverse in dollar index. This is .dxy US dollar index, not the ETF UUP, it's the dollar index. It was steadily going up. Why don't we look at it using weekly, daily? Even in the weekly, it was steadily going up. Very sharp up move in dollar. At the very top, it displayed bearish indecision. Again, a bearish indecision after 1 week. then a bear release signal, backdrop color turned bearish. For last 3 weeks, dollar index is falling, so dollar is weakening. And if you remember India's Bank Nifty, sorry, not Bank Nifty. If you remember India's rupee, the Indian rupee, that is playing out almost in a similar way. Rupee was also going up, so rupee was weakening, and for last 3 weeks, rupee is falling, so rupee is strengthening, and dollar is relatively weakening, as we would expect. Now, one pattern I wanted to highlight here is this. Dollar index hit jump thrust high. Both of them hit the extreme high level, cyan color. And then we had big move down 3. The jump thrust high also came when we were at pendulum or price extreme high. So the reversal of some of the FANG stocks happened in dollar index, where jump thrust high, pendulum high, and then big move down 3 came. Almost always price falls from there, as it happened in dollar index as well. Is there any support nearby? There is a white direction line support, and after that a trend line support. Looking at the very bearish close of Friday, it doesn't look like that dollar is going to stop here. Probably it is going to weaken more. It may find some more support near the trend line support. Not sure if the white direction line will be strong enough. However, I also see there is a watermark support. So yes, there is a chance that dollar will bounce up from here. But am I going to buy or short dollar index as of Friday's close? No, there is no long or short setup. Let's clear the lines. If I look to the left, where could I trade dollar index? That would be on this day or this day or this day, all of which give a flow short setup. The weekly was already magenta, so we could take a short on any of these 3 days and we would exit the trades with a profit. Dollar is looking weak and is looking like a falling knife. I wouldn't like to bet on it stopping right here. I came here mainly to look at this pattern, jump thrust, pendulum, and then big move up 3, how they play out both at the top and at the bottom. Now let's look at the market from some other angles. From the external view and internal view, and in terms of dollar weakness, all are pointing to bullish market but overbought market. If I look at the sector industry stock advance decline breadth, 1 month to 1 day, everything is now bullish. If we consider 2 day to 1 month, it is extremely bullish. So much so that it is looking overbought, and the overbought condition is more explicitly seen from the bucket analysis, that is the percentage of stocks above upper boundary. Whenever it hits 30% or higher, that is an overbought condition. That is something I always look at. I don't like to buy overbought market, and this is kind of looking at the internal health, similar to what we do using market breadth total view. Market breadth total view is approaching overbought condition, and bucket analysis here in Q edge has hit the overbought condition. Another reason for me not to buy. What about technical breadth? That should be bullish, isn't it? Yes. Technical breadth using Q finder, balance between bulls and bears, strong across all the categories, all signals, strength signal, continuation and reversal signal. Very bullish picture for the week. What about Friday's picture? All signals, strength signal, trend continuation, all are bullish. Only reversal is more bearish than bullish in terms of percentage. However, the absolute number of reversals is much smaller than the number of strength signals. So in this case, though the percentage of reversals is more on the bearish side, when taken together, the strength and reversal, they together continues to show bullishness because of the absolute numbers. It is bullish, but it is also overbought from other angles that I showed. That's why I'm reluctant to look for many buy setups. I'll probably not look at any stocks to buy today. But if you wanted to do that, you could look at breakout setups. I can see breakout is one trade category. In fact, the only one trade category that is having more than 10% stocks in it. More than 10 is 13% stocks broke out. So you could more easily find proper trade setups from breakout category. You could look at other trade setups also, but I can see the percentages are small. We could look at breakouts, and if there are breakouts that are low risk, probably breakouts at price extreme low, that would be interesting. Let me see if I have time today to look at some of the potential breakouts. Now, as the market is overbought, if I am going to look for breakout candidates, I'd like to take them in industries that were weak earlier and strengthening. I would not like to take them in industries that were already strong for a while because the market is overbought. Again, let me see if I have time to come back to that. Before that, let's look at the two USA market stocks I shared in the previous market recap. Both were bullish candidates. One was a gold mining stock. How did gold do? Let's look at gold ETF GLD. Gold had a very decisive, clear breakout to the upside. Very bullish. Now, I didn't share any long idea on GLD. I avoid trading commodities, but I did share a buy idea on a gold mining stock SAND. That was at the close of Friday 1 week ago. And since then, price has gone up somewhat in an uptrend now with higher high, higher low. Based on the entry price, it might not have hit the profit target. It's in a profit, but it might not have hit the profit target. If it goes up little bit, hits the upper boundary, then it will hit the profit target and the trade will be out. Trade will be closed with a profit. It is in a profit but has not hit the initial profit target. And the other stock that I shared, the only other stock in the USA market, bullish idea again 1 week ago, that was IP International Paper. I shared it based on this day's candle 1 week ago, based on this week's candle. Since then, price has sharply gone up, has hit the upper boundary, so it has hit the profit target, and you would exit the trade with a profit following discipline. Will I close the entire trade in this case? No. Why? Because both the weekly and the daily are looking very bullish, and on Thursday we had jump thrust, sorry, not jump thrust, big move up 3. Now let's look back. We had jump thrust low at this point, both hit the extreme low, magenta color. We were at pendulum low at that point, and then we had a big move up 3. almost always from there price goes up, as it happened once again. If you followed the stock regularly, you could buy right on this day. It had a, most likely, yes, it had a buy setup also, because I can see it had a bull release signal, bullish pressure, reversed at watermark support, and the weekly was already yellow or cyan. So it gave a box long trade setup, and because of the box setup and the additional confidence from this pattern, jump thrust low, pendulum low, then big move up 3, this buying must not have been because of some small retail traders, must have been because of some bigger traders who were powerful enough to reverse the trend right at the bottom. And again, almost like clockwork, price goes up. You could buy there, or you could buy when I shared it publicly 1 week ago before knowing the result again. Both of those trades would come out with a profit. That is the difference and value of Q systems and techniques. Unambiguous decisions made oftentimes contrary to what others may be thinking. I have a few more minutes. Let's look at some breakout setups. But again, I will like to find breakouts that are low risk and in industries that were weak earlier, because the market is overbought. Let's see if I can find some. Starting with Q Finder bottom up analysis, looking at the breakouts, we have 202 breakouts. I'm going to look for breakouts that are happening at a low price level, that is price extreme low. Flag for that. I still have 73 breakouts, and these are massive breakouts, isn't it? Even as I go to the bottom of this screen length, I see the percentage change on Friday is 5%. The highest percentage change on Friday is 26% plus. So these are very strong breakouts. But I am not going to just look at the percentage change and decide to buy or not. Let's do a fundamental analysis of these stocks using Q Vital, the tool for doing fundamental analysis and peer analysis. Here I am going to retrieve data of these 73 stocks from Refinitiv and calculate a stock scorecard, and then look at them to find the stocks that are fundamentally strong out of these 73 stocks. It has updated the scorecard. Let's look at them. Because there are 73 stocks, let's see if I can find any diamond stocks. No, that would be undervalued with earnings and revenue growth. Let's try 3-star, that is stocks that are undervalued plus having earnings growth. Undervalued, valuation in bullish color, and with earnings growth. Incidentally, both of them also have short squeeze potential. Well, let's look at these two stocks, industries, RNG and JELD. What about their industries? Scorecard, that is from QH. Application software, building products. Not as strong as I would like. In fact, both of them decelerated on Friday. So percentage wise, they went up, especially application software. Okay, that's a reason to look at the application software stock. Let's look at that. Go back to Vital. RNG. Now it's time to open the chart. The chart is getting squeezed because of the price range. Let's look at it using Q Elite quickly. It will resize the scale better. RNG, it did have a decisive breakout, went up by 8.7% on Friday, had a bullish headwind one day ago that also had big move up 3 at pendulum low. However, this is too much down in the price pattern in the weekly. And whenever I am pausing for a while to think that that stock is not the one that I'm going to buy. If I look at a stock I want to buy, it should immediately tell me to buy. So let's keep this not for me to buy. You could always look at a chart, at least this chart, and after looking at its fundamentals and industry strength, you could justify a way to buy it. But because of that thought in my mind that if I pause to make a decision, then I don't trade that stock. So I will avoid trading RNG. Let's go back to Q Vital. Let's see if we have one star candidates. Many of them, they went up by significant percentages, at least some of them. Let's look at these stocks industry. Several of these industries are in the most accelerating industries, top 20% accelerating industries on Friday. Some of them are among the top 20% of industries in terms of strength. So you could look at stocks from both of these categories. Remember, I mentioned the market is overbought in some ways, so I am going to look for breakouts only if they are at low price level and only if they are in industries that are strong now and were not strong earlier. And all the ones that I am highlighting here that meet that requirement. So let's go back to Vital, shortlist the stocks from those industries, strong industries, left with 9 stocks. Let's look at some of them. Why don't we look at all of them? 9 stocks. Start with AMC. AMC is an interesting stock. I wouldn't mind buying this. Bullish backdrop, bull release in weekly, daily a decisive breakout, relative performance very strong, big move up 3 on Thursday at pendulum low, bullish pressure both on Thursday, Friday. Only concern is that the stop loss will be little bit far away than I would like to have. Let's go through the other stocks. HBI, this is looking better. In daily, this is the first day it broke out, created a false downside breakout at the watermark level. Big move up 3 came on Friday. Unlike many other stocks and market ETFs, most stocks or ETFs had big move up 3 on Thursday, but this one is having big move up 3 on Friday. After coming very close to jump thrust low, of course pendulum low, so almost always price goes up from here. So HBI is looking better. If I had to choose any stock among the stocks I saw so far for buying as a breakout setup at price extreme low in strong industry with strong fundamentals, HBI will be one of them. Let's quickly browse through the remaining stocks. Well, I'll not go through the detail. I think I should do some justice to this stock also. TXMD, very nice breakout in weekly, first bullish backdrop after a large number of bearish backdrop candles. Big move up 3 on Thursday. Thursday, Friday, both went up sharply. Very low price stock, below $10. You may investigate it further. It is a biotech. I don't always like to buy biotechs. They have more uncertainties than non-biotech stocks. Look at the next one, GOOS. Has a nice breakout, but stop loss will be far away. I skip that. Coles, KSS, has an upper tail on Friday. The breakout is not decisive. I'm not going to consider it for buying. Next one, CWK. Nice breakout on Friday, but too many trendline resistances nearby. Not going to buy it unless it clears those resistances. Next, X-ray, XRAY. Trendline resistance in daily, weekly, not going to buy. Next, PLTK. Once again, trendline resistance, multiple of them in daily, not going to buy. Last, TDC, long upper tail on Friday, not going to buy. So I'm left with two stocks. One is HBI, very nice decisive breakout on Friday, and the big move up 3 on Friday, and the biotech stock TXMD. Very decisive breakout in both weekly, daily, low price biotech. You may look at both of these stocks. Market is overbought, but these two stocks may buck the trend. Why? I mean, buck the trend even if market goes down. Overbought doesn't mean market will come down. Overbought market may remain overbought for a long time, but these two stocks may continue to go up even if the market reverses. Why I am saying that is because of the industry scorecard, because of the fundamental strength, and because of the technical pattern. It's not guaranteed. That's why stop loss is always to be applied in Q techniques for swing trading purposes. We are beyond 1 hour point. Let's end today's session here. Thanks a lot for joining. I look forward to seeing you in my next session. That will be either Saturday or Sunday next week. Have a great weekend, and as these live examples show, there is no reason not to do that. Trade profitably. Thank you.